Welcome back to Pokemon Episode Summaries. Today, I'll be doing Episode 152, Hour of the Handor. The episode begins with Ash and the gang having just arrived outside of Onyx Tunnel and deciding to set up some lunch, as they were tired after their long trek. Ash goes to get some water, while Misty and Brock prepare the tables and some food, leaving his backpack behind in the process. However, when Ash returns with the water, he realizes that his backpack is gone when he goes to retrieve it when Misty and Brock ask him for some bread so that they could make some sandwiches. This leads Ash to assume that someone must have stolen his backpack, but Misty and Brock retort that they've literally been here the entire time. They would have saw if someone stole it, insinuating that they thought Ash was just being a clumsy bitch and lost his backpack. However, Brock then spots some footprints in the ground, and Ash and the gang decide to follow them at Ash's insistence that they needed to find whoever took his backpack. Meanwhile, Nurse Joy and her Chansey had just finished buying some groceries and decided to go get some ice cream, so they decided to leave all of their groceries on a bench in the middle of the mall that they were currently in. Now, this obviously sounds like a bad idea, right? Well, I think I could defend it. I mean, the ice cream station was just like a couple feet away. They probably didn't expect anyone to try and steal their groceries, but Team Rocket, being Team Rocket, was spying on Nurse Joy and had spotted her groceries, wanting food. As they came up with a plan to steal the groceries, Wobbuffet then popped out of Jessie's Pokeball, and she quickly recalled him so that Wobbuffet wouldn't blow their cover, as they were currently hiding, obviously. Team Rocket then moved to a point higher up in the mall, and proceed to stealthily lower Meowth down using a fishing rod, and he proceeds to snipe the ham out of Nurse Joy's bag as James pulls him back up. By the time Nurse Joy and Chansey returned, having finished their mint chocolate chip ice cream, they had noticed that the ham was gone, and there was no sign of the perpetrators, because Team Rocket had already escaped outside the mall by this point. And they were about ready to eat that goddamn ham. They were starving. But it appeared that there was something else that may have wanted the ham as well, as red eyes stared at them from a nearby bush, unbeknownst to them. After excitedly looking at the ham, wanting to savor the moment, Jessie finally pulls off the wrapper, wanting to take the first bite, but Meowth gets to it first, which causes a huge-ass argument, as all of Team Rocket wanted the ham all to themselves, being the hungry and selfish bastards that they were. This fight causes Jessie to drop the ham, and as they continue fighting, they become so distracted that they lose track of where the ham went, allowing the figure with red eyes to swoop in, still unbeknownst to Team Rocket, and take the ham. When Team Rocket finally snap out of it and stop fighting, they realize that the ham was now gone from them, and Meowth immediately blames Wobbuffet as he suddenly pops out of his Pokeball. Meowth literally jumps on Wobbuffet, leading Wobbuffet to counter and throw him off. Okay, I guess I should specify he didn't use the literal move counter. Nurse Joy, who had also walked out of the mall at this point, had heard all of the yelling and fighting that was going on, so she went to go check it out. Seeing Nurse Joy approach, Team Rocket swiftly make their exit, hiding in a nearby alleyway. Nurse Joy then spots all that remained on the scene, which was an empty handbag, and questioned where her ham could have gone off to, and who could have stolen it. Just then, Ash and the gang had just come out of the forest in an attempt to look for Ash's bag, when they spotted Nurse Joy, and realized that she seemed like she was in distress, so they asked her what was wrong. However, before Nurse Joy could reply, Brock then did his usual routine of flirting with Nurse Joy, leading Misty to drag him off. This allowed Ash to get back to his regular questioning of what Nurse Joy seemed stressed about, to which Nurse Joy revealed that her ham was stolen, leading Ash to reply that his bag was stolen as well, and they come to the conclusion that they must have been stolen by the same person. Misty assumes that Team Rocket could have been behind this, correctly explaining how Team Rocket was really the only thieves that they knew, but Nurse Joy simply stated that she didn't know for sure because she hadn't seen anyone, so she didn't want to make any assumptions. Ash and the gang then spot some footprints, with Brock remarking how they were similar to the ones that they had spotted earlier, and Pikachu realizes that they led directly back into the forest, indicating that the culprit must have went back in there. So Ash and the gang proceed to follow the footprints into the woods, as Nurse Joy wishes them luck and stays behind. As for Team Rocket, they were still hiding in the alleyway, and planned to follow Ash and the gang into the woods so that they could reclaim the ham for themselves. However, they were almost heard by Nurse Joy, as Wobbuffet once again popped out of its Pokeball. Thankfully, they shut it up before she noticed them. Back with Ash and the gang, they had successfully managed to follow the footprints, but they eventually stopped and gave them no clues as to who the culprit was. Ash and Misty were disappointed, though Brock was still content as he noticed the way the wind was blowing and said that that gave him an idea, and instructed that Ash and the gang set up camp for the night, stating that the wind made this place an ideal place to catch the culprit. Ash and the gang were obviously confused how the fuck wind could help them catch a culprit, but they obliged to Brock's request and set up camp as Brock cooked 2 sausages. Ash and Misty thought that this was their dinner, but Brock then revealed that one of the sausages was actually a decoy, being a piece of wood instead, that he had carved to look like a sausage. By the time the real sausage was done cooking along with the fake sausage, it was dark, and Brock then placed the fake sausage on a plate and left it on the ground as they went to go hide behind a bush. Ash and Misty were seriously questioning what the fuck Brock was doing during all this. Why was he cooking a piece of wood? It was then that Brock clarified his plan. Essentially, he had cooked both a real and fake sausage, so that the wind, which he stated was ideal, would hopefully carry the scent of the real sausage around the forest, and therefore attract the culprit to the smell of the food. Once it arrived, it would immediately go for the fake sausage, and therefore Ash and the gang could then intercept it. Now, here's a bit of a question. Why didn't Brock just bother putting out real food to begin with? Like, why do a decoy sausage when you could just cook a real sausage and then have the wind carry the scent anyways? You were relying on the scent of the real sausage, so you might as well just cook a real sausage. Well, Ash and Misty had this question as well, and Brock clarified that the reason why he used a decoy sausage was to ensure that the culprit would come back. Essentially, Brock realized that if he didn't have a decoy, then the culprit could just eat the sausage once and then be like, oh, I guess there's never going to be any food here ever again, and as a result, it may never come back. And if Ash and the gang were to miss to the culprit on the first time, like they failed to capture him, then that means that they'd be shit out of luck. Sure enough, Ash and the gang would have been shit out of luck if they didn't have the fake one, because when the culprit initially appeared, Pikachu heard something, although Ash and the gang weren't fast enough to catch it before it took the decoy on the plate. Ash and the gang obviously weren't worried now, though, because they knew that the culprit would likely come back for the real food, knowing it had been tricked. So, all Ash and the gang had to do was wait for the culprit to reveal themselves once again, wanting the real food this time. As they fearfully looked around, not looking to get ambushed, they then spotted the red eyes approaching from a nearby bush, growling at them. We then finally see the culprit's full form, not just those scary red eyes, as they come out of the bushes. There wasn't just one culprit, but four dog-like Pokemon that seemed to be a pack, and the pack was angry at having been deceived, so they proceed to surround Ash and the gang. Despite the dire situation, Ash still takes the time to scan the Pokemon with his Pokedex, which reveals that they were Houndour, Dark-type Pokemon, a newly discovered type. As the Houndour close in, Brock finally admits that maybe his decoy plan wasn't the best, as he didn't plan for the culprit to be angry-ass Pokemon that could maul them in one bite. As Ash looked around for a way to escape the situation, he instead found another Houndour sitting on a nearby cliff ledge. Due to its pose and intimidating stature, Brock correctly assumed that this Houndour must have been the leader of the pack. Ash, believing he could reason with the leader, yells at it that he wanted his backpack back. However, this angry yelling simply makes the four Houndour that were surrounding them even more pissed off, and they proceed to attack, leading Ash to send out his Pokemon, along with some of Brock and Misty's, to counter. Ash sends out Chikorita and Cyndaquil, Brock sends out Onix, and Misty tries to send out her Staryu, but instead, Psyduck pops out, much to her dismay, as when she tries to order Psyduck to attack, he doesn't know what the fuck was going on. Despite Psyduck's failure, Onix, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Pikachu all were doing pretty well against the four Houndour, and Ash and the gang managed to get the upper hand, especially after Cyndaquil used Flamethrower and startled all the Houndour as they all backed away from Ash and the gang. This led the pack leader to get pissed off, as it didn't want Ash and the gang to get the impression that its pack was weak, so it immediately jumped down, wanting to show off its own strength, and challenged Ash and his Pikachu to a one-on-one battle, to make sure that the battle was fair. Ash accepted, admiring the Houndour's determination, as the battle began with Houndour and Pikachu both using Leer on each other, revealing that Leer was the cause of the Houndour's really red eyes. This Leer stare-down continued for a while, with Houndour realizing that it was obviously futile, since they were both using it, so the Houndour then changed its strategy to using a Flamethrower attack, but Pikachu managed to dodge by speeding away with agility, and continued to attack quickly by using a quick attack, no pun intended. However, the Houndour was too fast as well, and managed to dodge the quick attack. Due to Houndour dodging, this causes Pikachu to trip, allowing the Houndour to strike with a Flamethrower. However, Pikachu was able to dodge just in time, jumping up into the air, pivoting from its flipped position. Pikachu then uses Thunderbolt, but Houndour manages to dodge, although it was extremely tired out from going so fast, as was Pikachu. With both Pokemon immensely tired, the battle pauses, and Ash debates what he should do next, when suddenly, cries could be heard. These cries must have alerted the Houndour that they needed to go somewhere, because they proceeded to use a smog attack to create a wall of smoke so that they could escape without being seen. When the smoke cleared, and Ash and the gang stopped coughing, Ash and the gang saw that all the Houndour, including the leader, were gone, and rushed to follow them. It was then revealed that the cries that the Houndour had heard were from a golem, who was currently attacking the Houndour pack's home, along with a sixth member of their pack that had stayed behind due to being injured. Thankfully, the rest of the Houndour pack had now arrived back at their home, with Ash and the gang closely behind. The Houndour pack proceeded to defend the Houndour that was being attacked by the Golem by firing their flamethrowers at Golem, but their flamethrowers did absolutely nothing, with Golem being a rock type. Ash and the gang were obviously concerned for all of the Houndour, but they were mainly concerned for the one that was already injured before the Golem even attacked, and why that Houndour had stayed behind. Brock then looked over and spotted Ash's backpack, along with a whole bunch of other missing food and missing items, including the ham bone and the bread from Ash's backpack. This led Brock to come to the conclusion that the Houndour must have been stealing all of the items and food so that it could give them to the already injured Houndour. As Brock hypothesized how the Houndour could have been injured in the first place, the Houndour was still fighting the Golem with their fire attacks, despite how useless they were. This meant that the unfazed Golem could still charge toward the Houndour, and it immediately went for the leader of the pack. As the Golem rolled towards the leader, though, in a Deus Ex Machina moment, Ash then jumped down from the cliff where he was watching and swooped in to save the Houndour leader from being attacked. Ash then had his Chikorita use Razor Leaf, and this single attack sent the Golem cowardly scurrying away. With the Golem dealt with, Brock then ran up to the injured Houndour and assessed its wounds, determining that it wasn't deep, but it was infected, so he decided to apply a super potion to try and heal it. However, when he did, the Houndour pack surrounded Ash and the gang, still believing them to be their enemies even after Ash had saved their leader. The Houndour then growled, assuming that Brock was attempting to hurt the injured Houndour even further, leading Brock to panically drop the super potion. Ash then picks it up though, and tries to reassure the Houndour that they were trying to help it, and quickly sprays the injured Houndour with the super potion before the rest of the Houndour could do anything to him. However, when he sprays the super potion, it stings a little bit, so this causes the injured Houndour to yelp, which makes the rest of the Houndour think that Ash was injuring it, so they proceed to growl at him and threaten to beat his ass. This leads Chikorita, Pikachu, and Cyndaquil to stare down the Houndour, intending to try and defend Ash. However, Ash immediately recalled his Pokemon into their Pokeballs and called Pikachu back up onto his shoulder, knowing that if his Pokemon attacked, then it would only make the Houndour even angrier and assume even more that he was trying to hurt the injured Houndour. Thankfully, because of Ash recalling his Pokemon, it makes the Houndour trust Ash a little bit more, so they let Brock check on the injured Houndour yet again to see how he was doing after getting the super potion administered, and Brock sadly confirms that it didn't help and the Houndour was burning up with a fever. Brock states that the only way the injured Houndour could be saved now was if it was taken to a Pokemon Center to get better care. This led Ash to pick up the injured Houndour and inform the rest of the Houndour that Houndour in fact needed to go to the Pokemon Center, otherwise it could fucking die, and pleaded that they put their differences aside so that Ash could help it. The Houndour thankfully let him go, as he assures them that he can carry the injured Houndour all the way there by himself. When suddenly, Team Rocket literally cuts Ash off this time, as they do their motto, revealing their plan to now not only get the Ham back, but capture Pikachu and all the Houndour as well, viewing the Houndour as being rare due to being dark types. When Misty hears Team Rocket mention the Ham, she realizes that her initial assumption was correct after all. Team Rocket were the Ham culprits, at least before the Houndour swooped in. Speaking of the Houndour, they were thankfully able to shield Ash and the gang from Team Rocket before they could do anything to them, so this allowed Ash and the gang to still head off to the Pokemon Center so that the injured Houndour could get treated. Jesse and James were fuming mad at the Houndour because of this, so they sent out all their Pokemon to have them attack the Houndour, including James's Victory Bell, who immediately ate James. Once Victory Bell released James, though, it went into attack with all of Team Rocket's other Pokemon, but they were all stopped in their tracks as the Houndour intimidated them by using their red eyes and leer. Jesse and James managed to convince their Pokemon to stop being scaredy cats and go head in, and Weezing and Arbok managed to finally get in and attack, but before it could land, the Houndour then fired a massive flamethrower that just barely missed Team Rocket and knocked out all their Pokemon, so this prompted Team Rocket to run the fuck away. Meanwhile, due to the Houndour distracting Team Rocket, Ash and the gang were able to make their way to the Pokemon Center, but before they could get there, Ash and the gang began to get tired, with Misty and Brock getting tired first, despite Ash being the one who was doing all the heavy lifting. Why was this, man? Ash should have gotten tired first, obviously, but I guess he was just so determined. He unfortunately wasn't determined enough, though, as he quickly collapsed right after Brock and Misty. Thankfully, though, with Team Rocket dealt with, this allowed the rest of the Houndour, including the leader, to catch up to Ash and the gang, and the leader Houndour offered to take over from Ash and carry the injured Houndour on its back, which Ash accepted. Due to Ash not having the Houndour on his back anymore, this gave him enough strength to get back up, so he was still able to run along with the rest of the Houndour pack to the Pokemon Center, with Brock and Misty also able to get back up for a little bit of time. When Ash and the gang finally arrived, Ash immediately informed Nurse Joy, and she rushed the injured Houndour off to the operating room, leading Ash and the gang and the Houndour pack to wait patiently for results. It took quite a few minutes, but eventually Nurse Joy emerged from the operating room and informed Ash and the gang and the Houndour that she was able to heal the Houndour enough to the point where it now just needed rest and would hopefully be okay by morning. Ash and the gang and the Houndour were all immensely happy, but they couldn't bask in their happiness for long, as they then heard a noise coming from outside, so they ran outside to check it out, only to find the source of the noise to be Team Rocket's Meowth balloon. They had shown back up, and wasted no time this time, not even performing their motto again, as they fired a net to capture all of the Houndour pack. Except for the leader, and Pikachu for that matter, as they both were able to jump away from the net in time. With Pikachu safe, Ash commanded it to use Thunderbolt on the now escaping Meowth balloon. However, the Meowth balloon was too high up, so this gave the Houndour leader the idea to team up with Pikachu and have it jump on its back. Houndour then jumps as high as it can and fires a flamethrower at the net, knocking it down from the Meowth balloon and freeing the rest of the Houndour from it. Ash then orders Pikachu to jump off of the Houndour's back, as he was now high enough and could successfully get off a Thunderbolt, sending Team Rocket blasting off in their Meowth balloon. Yay! As Ash cheered with happiness, all of the freed Houndour proceeded to tackle him to the ground and lick him furiously. They were immensely happy with him, since he had saved them all. With the help of his Pikachu and the Houndour leader, of course. Anyways, with Team Rocket gone, the injured Houndour was able to recover in the Pokemon Center in peace, and by the next morning, sure enough, it was feeling all better. With the exception of a broken leg, but Brock got rid of any of the pain this broken leg was causing when he pulled out the real sausage and gave it to the injured Houndour. Damn, that's a full circle plot if I've ever seen one. The episode then ends with Ash and the gang saying goodbye to the Houndour, along with the injured one, who had now returned to the pack, fully recuperated. Yay! As Ash and the gang set off towards Goldenrod City, they hear the Houndour pack howl at them in the distance, as a way of saying thank you to Ash and the gang for all their help. We then see one last scene from Team Rocket, who had blasted off onto a tree branch, except for Wobbuffet, who had popped out of its Pokeball while they were blasting off, and managed to land on the cliff atop the tree branch. Team Rocket asked Wobbuffet to help them, but Wobbuffet, being the useless fuck he was, didn't do absolutely anything, much to Team Rocket's dismay.